Welcome to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a
What's
light
your
on
story?
incredible impact. What does accessibility mean to you?
What's your mission? Welcome all to accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a light on incredible individuals and organizations and the work that they do. I'm your host, Josh Basil. I'm a C4-5 quadriplegic, paralyzed below my shoulders, and a power wheelchair user. I'm the Community Relations Manager at accessiBe and a passionate disability rights advocate and trial attorney, focused on breaking down barriers to access and inclusion for people with disabilities. Today on accessiBe Spotlight Sessions, we're joined by Evan Kelly, the Communications Manager at the Developmental Disabilities Association. Welcome, Evan.
Well, thanks for having me.
Excited to have you on, Evan, and let's jump right into it. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I've sort of been in the communications game for, I guess, the better part of 20 years. I started in communications in radio, actually, out here in Vancouver, a station called News 1130 Radio. It's part of the City TV and the City News our group under Rogers, so I was there for about 6 or 7 years. And then I decided I wanted to get into something a bit more corporate, and that involved jumping into the Better Business Bureau out here. So I was there for a few years. Then I joined the British Columbia Lottery Corporation. And then looking for something new, I've been here at the Developmental Disabilities Association for the past 3 years now. I guess in my spare time, I'm an active musician. I play in a band out here on the West Coast and have a couple of kids, and that's about it.
Thank you for sharing all that, Evan. It's awesome. And tell us a little bit about Developmental Disabilities Association.
Oh, there's lots to say about that. I mean, this is an organization that started in 1952 when a young mother gave birth to a boy by the name of Bobby who had Down syndrome. She balked at the conventional wisdom of the time, which would be to institutionalize your kid and essentially forget about them. So from that day forward, DDA was born. They were the first organization to open a special needs school in Canada, and so they've always been about inclusivity and fostering community living, and that's just where we find ourselves today, 70 years later, with nearly 20 group homes with 24/7 care for about 70 different clients. We have day programs for many people and families to take part in. We've got assisted living. We've got a foster care program, and we also operate 9 child development centers that have a mandate of 25% of the spaces reserved for kids with developmental disabilities. So we started out with 1 mother and 1 child, and now we've got a staff of nearly 600 people.
That is amazing, and definitely
that's the abridged version.
Definitely impacting so many lives. And how did you come about, or what motivated you to become a part of DDA?
Well, I mean, like anybody else in my career, I was looking for a new opportunity in communications. This caught my eye as a very, very interesting organization, and maybe to help flex my communication muscles in a very positive way for the community. It also felt that as a person who doesn't have a lived experience with disabilities, working with a group like this would just expand my own personal awareness and understanding of people with developmental disabilities. 3 years in, that's all true, and it's really great working with our executive director, Alana Hendren, who's been the boss here for 26 years and has been a champion in community living.
Well, as the communication manager, I'm a communication major in college, and then went to law school, but I know, and I love the ability to raise awareness and get behind something that is doing good, changing the world, and being in an organization like DDA. That's pretty special that you get to help raise awareness to the masses, and it's just wonderful. And
it's a unique opportunity, yeah, for sure.
I'd love for you to tell us a memorable moment or event or story with your time at DDA that just had a lasting impact on you.
Yeah, I guess there's one that sort of stands out to me. We hired a videographer a couple of years ago. Um, and I'll just mention really quickly, he produced a documentary, Doing the Impossible, the story of the Developmental Disabilities Association. That's available on our YouTube channel. That is, it's got over 12,000 views at the moment. It has been nominated at the Yorkton Film Festival this year that's happening in May, so we're pretty excited about that. That goes back and really talks about at a high level what I just went over from our humble beginnings. But really, DDA is driven by its clients, and there's one in particular by the name of Eddie, who's been with DDA for many, many years, and he was part of the institutionalization aspect in British Columbia when we still had institutions like Woodlands around. And, I got a chance to sit and talk to him and how, life in those institutions was so bad and that she was treated so poorly. Even as experience growing up as a person with developmental disabilities, how people treated him. And it was very sad. And to see how now, even at this point in his life where he's, I'm not sure how old he is, he might even be in his 70s, I'm not sure, but to how happy he is today about his lifestyle and what he's able to do and accomplish and who he's able to see, it just speaks volumes about what DDA can do, and or not just DDA. There's plenty of organizations out here who do what we do, but in trying to really foster that attitudinal change towards people with developmental disabilities. They're not just people we need to write off. We need to accept them
when you have
and
an
include them.
organization or a community or even a government that has the right supports in place and just doesn't want you to fall through the cracks or push you to the side, but truly supporting you to live independently and to live your best possible life.
Yeah,
that's life changing.
It's about the supports. That's really what it comes down to, and it doesn't have to be that expensive.
It's important that we're not alone, and when you're not alone,
exactly.
And you have the supports, you have that community, you have a lot of different things to have your back and to allow you to not only survive but thrive. That's a secret sauce of really changing life and changing the world.
But one of the problems that we face as a sort of a caregiving organization, a support organization, is finding the people to do those jobs. And they're making a lot of moves out here in British Columbia that is sort of empowering care workers and early child educators and those kind of positions, really sort of beefing them up and recognizing the education and the sacrifice and even increasing the wages to make these a better job, a better career aspect for people. It's about time that we have to recognize the clients, but we also have to recognize the people that are involved in supporting them and how important that work is.
Absolutely. It's key. If you don't have the supports in place, you don't have the caregivers, the nurses, the staff to operate it, you're missing the key, so many key important pieces of the puzzle to make it all fit together.
Exactly.
When you hear the word accessibility, what first comes to mind?
To me, it means for everyone without a thought. What I'd like to gloss on about positive action on any levels of government, we still have a long way to go when it comes to making our communities accessible to all. I can see it every day. We're making improvements for sure in the city of Vancouver and the city of Burnaby. They're creating new accessibility strategies, and that's great. And while I do not have experience with a disability, I don't have that lived experience, but what I've seen is there's still many things that need to happen to make things more accessible. We need to approach building codes with this universal attitude and not, building codes currently are sort of left to designers and architects, and as long as it's a code, it's okay, but it's, we might be able to, Josh, get you up to the 12th floor, for example, for something. But if there's a fire and you can't use the elevator, there's still nothing in the code that tells you how you can get out of that building. So we need to do more, and that really comes down to, again, changing attitudes of the public at large. That we need to do everything to make sure everyone is included, and that the people in the disability community don't just have access, but have a say in how that looks and how that works.
Love that. And when it comes to, like, if there's one thing that we could do more to make this a more inclusive place, what would that be?
Well, that does come down to those prevailing attitudes that somehow people with disabilities are less and they shouldn't be considered. They're not. We've come a long way since 1952 and the eugenics of World War II, but I still feel like there's a long way to go. Businesses need to understand that making a workplace accessible is good for the bottom line, and it doesn't cost that much. I mean, I read a report recently that said the disability community has a $30 billion buying power. That's a lot of money in lost revenue if businesses are not making their business accessible. We just need to get people in to the shops, and you'll be doing well.
And then when it comes to people with developmental disabilities, what's one thing you wish people knew more about?
That these people are not scary or confusing, that they enjoy their lives just as much as anyone else, that they have valid opinions and are able to make choices and be advocates for themselves. They know the issues. I mean, when we have elections here in BC, we make it really important that we get our clients out to vote. This is a strong group of people, and they just need the right supports to make that happen.
And then with the right supports, the right accessibility, the right inclusion, we're all part of this world together and doing
exactly
things together. And where do you think are some of the biggest current gaps within businesses where they're not prioritizing, or where they are prioritizing access and inclusion, either or?
Yeah, from my experience, it's a fairly limited experience, I must admit, but it's getting better. We're seeing more businesses in the practices of hiring people with developmental disabilities. The thing about DDA is that we have two social enterprises that foster inclusion and diversity in the workplace. We have our employment business called Jobs West that works with clients, and then it works with businesses and helps foster success so that people with developmental disabilities can get gainful employment and stay on the job. And we've got so many success stories from people being on the job 10, 15 years. And we find about 100 jobs a year for people with developmental disabilities. And it's a really, really great program. So we're seeing a lot of businesses that are opening their doors and looking at diversity as a really good thing. And we know that when you have a diverse workforce, it's better for your bottom line. It's better for staff retention. It's better for staff morale, and people stick around. So there's this big fear that it costs businesses lots of money to train and retain staff with disabilities, and we know that's just not the case.
Getting people with disabilities employed in the workforce changes businesses' culture. It improves their bottom line. It makes them communicate better with the disability community that can be buying, like you said, a huge buying potential. But anyways, we could talk on and on and on.
Yeah.
Evan, thank you so much for being today's guest on accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure, Josh. Absolutely.
And to all of our guests, thank you for staying to the end of accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to follow us at accessiBe_community. And until next time, thank you so much for being on this journey with us. Take care, everyone.